In this video, we're discussing how to prepare to file for bankruptcy. If you have not yet filed for bankruptcy and you're not sure if bankruptcy really is the right way to go, please reach out to a financial coach at saverstreet.com. Schedule a complimentary consultation. We'll review your case, we'll figure out if bankruptcy is the right way forward for you, and if financial coaching is the right way forward for you. Usually, bankruptcy is not the right option. But you're here now, you might be preparing to file for bankruptcy already. Let's go through some of the basics of preparing to file for bankruptcy so that you know what you're doing and can lower your attorney costs. Number one, gather and organize your debt documentation. Find all your debts, organize them in a spreadsheet, and categorize them. List out your creditors, the type of debt, unsecured or secured, car payment or credit card debt, the minimum payment, the full amount of the debt, and the interest rate. Gather your medical bills, your credit card statement, any personal loan files, and really any documentation of you owing anyone money. That's very important that you have all this documentation together in one file. Every single debt should be included here, as everything is reviewed when you're filing for bankruptcy. Next, gather and organize your income documentation. When you file for bankruptcy, they're going to want to know how much money you make. So grab your pay stubs from the last 6 months, or preferably really the last year. Pull your last 2 tax returns and have them at the ready, put them in your file. Gather any account statements from your investment or retirement accounts from the last 2 years and put them in your file. Also, coordinate with your bank account to get your bank account statements from the last 6 months, or preferably the last year, and also put those in your file. You can usually pull these online through your online bank. Also, gather proof that anyone owes you money. This is important when filing for bankruptcy. Next, gather and organize your asset documentation. Remember in the other video, we said that you would have to sell your assets or sell your stuff if you're filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. You also have to sell your stuff if you're filing for Chapter 13 bankruptcy. That's part of the process. So gather and organize your asset documentation. If you bought anything big in the last few months, you're going to want to list it. You'll need your real estate or mortgage documentation if you own any real estate. Pull your vehicle registration and information. In a spreadsheet, list every asset you own. List all your stuff, your house, your car, furniture, jewelry, electronics, really everything that you own and is in your name, website domains, it all counts. Gather any property tax exemptions. If you filed for a property tax exemption, you'll know what I mean and you'll have the documentation for that. Pull it, put it in your file. Also, pull any documentation of anything big that you've purchased in the last 2 years. That's any sort of furniture, jewelry, electronics, anything online, website domains. Pull the documentation to show that you've purchased something big. Attorneys will need to go through this. The court is going to want to see if you've purchased anything big and you're just trying to offload the debt. That's a no-no. That's called fraud. They like to review and see that. If you don't put it in your bankruptcy documentation, they will still find it. So just be upfront and put it in there. Next, gather and organize any other documentation you might need. If you're hiring an attorney, and I suggest you do, they'll tell you what that is, but it's generally any discussion that you've had with your creditors, any sort of emails, any print mail, any previous lawsuits that you were in, any insurance policy information, put all that in your bankruptcy file. Now, find a bankruptcy attorney and meet with him or her. They're going to go through your file that you just put together and review and see if you need anything else. Always do what they say. If you think you need anything else for your file, just pull it and put it in before you meet with your bankruptcy attorney. Very last thing, make copies. So if you're dropping off all of this documentation with your bankruptcy attorney, make copies of everything, put it in your bankruptcy file, so that you have it. You're going to want to pull it if you're going to and from different meetings. Just keep it with you, keep it electronically, but also keep it in print so that you have it. There's something about memory and having something in hand that helps you here. You're going to want to stay hyper organized to keep the cost of bankruptcy down. That will limit your cost so you can get through this a little bit easier. Again, if you are considering filing for bankruptcy and you haven't yet done it, and you haven't had a review from a financial coach, please reach out to us at saverstreet.com. We're happy to sit down with you in a complimentary consultation and talk through your bankruptcy process, your thinking, what you're trying to offload in your debt, what you think the right options are for you, and we'll give you an expert opinion.